Bassmaster Tournament Trail returns to the Arkansas River at Pine Bluff, Arkansas, with great expectations and high hopes for 330 fishing pros competing in the $196,000 Bassmaster Central Division Invitational. This is a special place in the Bass Angler Sportsman Society's history. The time, 1984, Pine Bluff Civic Center. The moment, Rick Clunn's final weigh-in at the Bassmasters Classic World Championship. A record-breaking three-day creel of 75 pounds, 9 ounces with 21 bass. Truly a classic fishing feat. One that will stand with the ages. Now, 11 years later, Arkansas Invitational fans wonder if the Clunn Hole, a spot so named in Slackwater Harbor, will pay off again.
Has to bring back some moments to be back here at Pine Bluff.
Well, you know, in any sport, I think what you strive for is that moment or that day you tend to touch perfection in what you do. In the art form, it's kind of like when Michael Jordan shoots 60 points in one game. And in fishing, you're real fortunate if you touch that perfection, you know, part of the day. And of course, the last time I was here, I was very fortunate enough to really be there for 3 days. And so no, it will always have a special meaning for me coming back here.
Well, to be in that zone and have a spot named after you, everybody knows where the Clunn Hole is now. I think when you fished it, it was a 2-foot drop-off, and now it's about a 4-foot ledge. There's been so many crankbaits run down it.
Yeah, it used to be kind of a steep, now it's rounded off, you know. It's a lot of sanding been going on there, but you know, this river's got a lot of fish. I just was very fortunate back then to find a spot that was just one of those really extraordinary spots. But that doesn't say this river, there's a lot of good water in this river. That one just was extraordinary.
Well, it's a great moment in bass history, and wish you the best in this tournament.
Certainly, Rick Clunn's made his mark on angling history. And here in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, the Clunn Hole's a tourist attraction. Every Bassmaster worth his tackle box wants to drag a lure along the now famous 50-yard stretch of Slackwater Harbor. Today, our Bassmasters cameras are going to focus on how to fish in highly pressured waters, what techniques and lures to use when fishing in a crowd, tactics the pros use to catch bass, even in well-known community holes. Also, you'll learn a lesson in cold front bassing, what to do and try when that first major cold front of the season arrives just as your fall weekend trip starts. All that's coming up, plus Ray Scott's special Bassmaster Casting Kit of the Week and a neat pros pointer with Ron Sheffield on how to add a noisemaker to any jig. So stay on board. I'm Bob Cobb. The Bassmasters are coming right back with tips and tactics you can use to catch more bass.
But that's the way it goes.
Tournament strategy, the perfect game plan. Simple to define, but not always easy to execute. To be a successful bass tournament angler, you find them in practice and catch them in the tournament. For the 330 pros fishing the Bassmaster Arkansas Invitational in early November, the 3 previous practice days were perfect. But at this morning's checkout at Pine Bluff's Regional Park in Slackwater Harbor, the forecast is upsetting. A strong cold front over the plains continues southeastward, expecting to slam into central Arkansas later today, dropping temperatures from the mid-70s to the 40s, followed by clear, bright skies and high winds. For bass anglers, the worst. How to beat the cold front blues won't be easy. But ahead of the front, the bass bite. Former Bass Angler of the Year Denny Brower of Missouri and today's partner Mike Etchart of Arizona are working a shallow water pad field some 60 miles south of the launch point. Generally, the backwaters in the lower Arkansas River pools near Dumas are productive in the early fall. However, tournament anglers do limit their daily fishing hours because of lost time in the river transportation locks. But it can be worth it as Denny Brower connects here on a half-ounce Strike King spinnerbait. Ahead of the weather front, the bass are feeding and aggressive. Baitfish are active. A topwater jerkbait fished by Jim Bitter is a good lure choice for bass-chasing shad. But the Fruitland Park, Florida pro seems to always make the right lure selection. Jim's won back-to-back Bassmaster Top 100 events this season. Denny Brower is casting into the pads in water 1 to 2 feet deep, but the key to the area is a creek channel with deeper water. The largemouth are feeding near the creek bend points. Denny's reeling the Pro Model Strike King spinnerbait just under the surface. The strikes are wrist-jarring. Oh my, tough break, Denny. As they say, without bad luck, you wouldn't have any luck at all. Bunky Long of Missouri is the lucky one today. The luck of the draw put him into the boat with Kurt Copeland of Pine Bluff. Kurt's fishing his first big-time BASS tournament, but he's no raw rookie. The 32-year-old Copeland knows Slackwater Harbor like his backyard, which it is.
Okay.
A blackened chartreuse jig with a number 11 Uncle Josh pork in the quarter-ounce size has worked best. With the lightweight jig, the anglers are swimming the lure over the rocky riprap. Kurt Copeland's milk run in the harbor covers some 20 different spots. About half of them are producing strikes. He's working on a 4-pound average limit. Besides Kurt's knowledge of the Pine Bluff Harbor, there's a pattern developing. The bass are suspended in the deeper water, moving up on the shallow shelf to feed when the shad are trapped against the rocks. With the lock and dam time loss worry and the cold front forecast, more competitors opt to fish the close-at-hand slackwater area. Well-known Arkansas pro Ron Sheffield among them. Sheffield's decision is interesting. Most of his experience has been way south in the Dumas Pool. We'll learn later why Ron's change in strategy is important. However, this first day, conditions are just about perfect for the pros fishing the backwater bays and creeks down south. With the overcast, the largemouth and the pads are still striking on top. Alfred Williams, a Jackson, Mississippi pro, is using a soft rubber bait, the Rat, that skims past the pad stems until a bass decides to make a rat attack. At the day one weigh-in, anglers' opinions differ as to how the fast-moving cold front and falling temperatures will affect the fishing.
I don't know. The way I'm fishing, I hope it'll help my fish. I hope it puts them tight on cover because, you know, I'm just fishing real slow and real hard.
This front, if it tightens them up a little bit, we could catch some big stringers or we could come in with nothing. It'll be interesting.
But there's more to fret about than a cold front. Here comes local favorite Kurt Copeland, and he's toting a load.
We got a new leader in the tournament. 20 pounds even. Kurt, what a start. Hold up.
Kurt Copeland's first weigh-in at a BASS tournament is impressive. A 4-pound average creel. With 20 pounds, he leads by almost 6 pounds over Gerald Beck's 14 pounds 4 ounces. Stay tuned. The Bassmasters are coming right back with the pros' tips and tactics on cold front bassing. Bass tournaments are like magnets. They attract bad weather. Day 2, the Bassmaster Arkansas Invitational. As forecast, the cold front arrives. Overnight temperatures plunge into the 30s. Surface water readings drop almost 4 degrees to 61.8 in the Pine Bluff Harbor. Winds are 15 to 25 miles per hour out of the north-northwest. But for tournament leader Kurt Copeland, it's not an ill wind that blows his mind. Equipment failure is the culprit. A broken steering cable on the trolling motor. Then his outboard motor quits. Partner Charlie Jones of Tennessee gets his boat from the motel. But Kurt Copeland never gets his concentration level back. The cardinal rules of cold front bassin: slow down, keep your confidence up. That's exactly what Ron Sheffield is doing to catch bass in these conditions.
This is the area known here in Pine Bluff as the Clun Hole. That's because in 1984, Rick Clun captured his third Bassmasters Classic title by catching 75 pounds, 9 ounces of bass on this spot. You know, that's good for any fishing tournament, much less the Classic. Now, 11 years later, this hole is still producing bass, and it's Ron Sheffield's key starting spot on this second morning.
Fishing sandbar drops is on this stretch of bank. It's kind of like there's a ledge, a double ledge. There's a ledge from about 1 foot to 2 foot of water, goes into about 3 to 4, and then it comes out another 20 or 30 feet and goes off into about 8 to 12. and then about where my boat sits, it tapers on off into 15 or 16 feet. And these fish have 3 or 4 little steps and ledges they can move up and down according to the weather. And then to add a bonus to it is scattered all up and down this drop, there's like isolated logs and a brush top or 2 here and there. And these fish are just kind of moving up and down. As the shad move in, the fish will move in. And I'm just kind of going up and down about a 200-yard section of bank here. That's a good fish here. Picking off 1 or 2 a pass, you know, I've had 4 bass today and I've caught 4 fish. I'm Carolina rigging the French fry is what I'm doing today. Yesterday I caught all my fish on a 7/16 Stanley jig. I think that's part of the key to this pattern is keeping your lures pretty small. There's number 5.
Boy, conditions out here on the second day are really tough for fishing. The wind's out of the north about 15 miles an hour. It's cold, it's chilly. It's hard for these guys to stay in position, and it's even harder for them to be working their lures effectively. But if you'll notice Ron Sheffield, he's not looking around very much when he's fishing. He has his eyes focused on one spot, and it's a great tip. It's where the line is meeting the water.
When the hard wind is blowing, a lot of us have trouble maintaining feel and contact when we're using a bottom lure such as a jig or a plastic worm. This particular time I'm fishing a jig and I've got a hard wind situation, and what I'm actually doing is I'm paying real close attention to where my jig, where my line is intersected with the surface of the water, and letting the bow and the line dictate a lot of my feel as far as when I'm getting a strike and when I'm not getting a strike. I think if you'd use that technique, using a lot less rod movement, letting the wind actually kind of move your lure along, and a real subtle hopping or twitching motion with the tip of your rod, I think it'll make you a lot more effective fisherman. In a situation, especially where we're faced here with a post-cold front situation, these fish are being real sluggish, not wanting to be very active. And by this way, I'm just letting that wind kind of drift my lure along with my line into the areas I want to fish and just shaking it. And when I make contact with a piece of cover, I'm doing quite a bit of the shaking, and the fish are moving off my line. That's the only way I'm detecting a lot of my strikes.
Even though Ron is an excellent fisherman, he's struggled the last couple of seasons. He hasn't made the Classic, he hasn't won any tournaments, and this Arkansas Invitational would be a key confidence builder to his career if he can come out on top.
Stay tuned. The Bassmasters will be right back with more how-to tactics to cure the cold front bass and blues. The Arkansas Invitational continues in a moment. But now it's time for Bass Mail, where you send in questions for the pros. Paul Wilson of Apache Junction, Arizona asks Florida pro Shaw Grigsby, how can I increase my hookup ratio with soft plastic lures, like a tube bait?
Paul, the best tip I can give you is instead of hooking the hook just into the body of the bait, just take it and punch it straight through the bait so it lays right on the surface. Push the plastic forward and just stick the point right under the skin, and that'll keep it weedless. If you're in real heavy cover, you can get a little deeper, but make sure you push the plastic towards the eye to get that point under there. This, of course, works best on a high-performance hook, but it'll definitely increase your hookups no matter what soft plastic bait you're having. This will do it.
Send your bassin questions to Bass Mail, Post Office Box 140430, Dallas, Texas 75214. At the Day 2 weigh-in with local favorite Kurt Copeland stumbling, the Arkansas Invitational spotlight shifts to Ron Sheffield.
He's got 13 pounds, 13 ounces. Ron, that's a great catch today in these conditions, and that's put you in the lead in the tournament.
Thank you, Bob. Well, you know, I don't know. I'm fishing in an area I've never fished before. In all my years of fishing this Arkansas River, I've never fished where I'm fishing. And so I think timing is critical here. When the bait fish move into these areas, these fish turn on, and that's kind of what I'm keying on. And hopefully that it'll hold up again one more day. I don't know.
Ron Sheffield climbs from 9th place into the top spot. A 2-day total of 25 pounds, 13 ounces. Gerald Beck holds on to second, only 7 ounces shy. But the big jump sees David Ashcraft of Bismarck, Arkansas, come from 55th place. His 15-pound, 11-ounce catch, the day's best, ties Gary Klein for third.
How many of you have ever gone to the lake only to find out that a major seasonal temperature plunging cold front is going to get there just after you do? What do you do? Well, normally you would think that the bass would move out a little bit deeper, get tighter on cover, and be tougher to catch. Well, just listen to what David Ashcraft says these bass here on the Arkansas River do when a cold front moves through.
Instead of locking on the cover, they go shallow and get on the rocks. And I guess it's the sunshine and it tends to grip the bait fish, so they do opposite of what you think they do. They just go shallow instead of back deeper and lock on cover. This is a locally made bait. It's called an Arkansas hog collar. This water in the harbor is a little dingier than what it normally is. I went with a white blade because shad tend to turn real light colored when the water's dingy, and go to a small blade because we've got a lot of small fry that's in the harbor right now. When the sun really come out and got real high, I couldn't get them to bite this white one, so I changed and put on a double willow leaf. If you notice the blades are painted on it, it kind of breaks up some of the flash, and it really makes it look like a small school of bait fish. And the color of the skirt, it all ties in with the shad that's here in the harbor. That's what the majority of these fish are going to feed on.
Oh, that's a big fish. All right, good one. Come here, baby. Come here, that's a big fish. It may be a striper. I bet it's a striper. What are you gonna bet? Oh my gosh, what a fish. Oh, it's a big fish. Get down there, get down there. Come here, baby. Yeah. Yeah, come here, darling. All right. That's what I'm looking for right there. 3 more like it, and this tournament's done.
Cold front bassin. There's no cure-all answer. The solution's mostly just dogged determination. Slow down, fish hard. That's how the top pros do it. Ron Sheffield makes a living that way.
Field early this morning, they said he was having one poor day. Man, I tell you, let's weigh him. 5 bass. He needs what? 12 pounds and 7 ounces. He's got it. 16 pounds, 10 ounces, Ron Sheffield. Ron, you had a little dry spell, but I think it rained dollars on you today.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I kind of thought for a while that my luck had been running so bad that even black cats avoided my path.
The final standings. Ron Sheffield pockets a big payday, $35,000. His winning total, 42 pounds, 7 ounces with 15 bass. Gary Klein finishes second with 38 pounds, 3 ounces, followed by Ken Adamson, Denny Brower, and Jay Yellis. First-round leader Kurt Copeland ranks 6th ahead of David Ashcraft, Malcolm Rachel, Richard McCarty, and Gerald Beck. Right now, it's time for the Pros Pointer, the how-to section of the Bassmasters, brought to you by Wrangler Rugged Wear, geared for the outdoors.
You know, I've won most of my tournaments fishing a Stanley jig. That's my favorite jig, and this particular tournament was won by using a 7/16 ounce Stanley jig. This particular jig is brown and orange in color, a little bit of black mixed in. I've got a number 11 Uncle Josh pork frog, and one of the tricks I did in this tournament to keep him staying hung up so much was I'd spread my weed guard apart like this so that lure would come over that cover a lot better. And to help an added attraction, get the fish to hear the lure, I'd take a little section of plastic worm, and inside it I would insert a little plastic rattle. As you can see, I've got a little glass rattle inside this jig. This was added a little bit of noise. This water's a little off-colored. It's cold front. I wanted all the attraction I could get to this fish, and I just take this lure and basically take it and pull it up against a piece of cover and shake it very gently. And these fish, a lot of them were coming up and picking that lure off of that cover just as it was sitting on the backside ready to hop over it, or immediately after I would pull it over a piece of cover. That was the whole secret to me winning this tournament. I think if you'll try the jig in the fall, you'll catch better quality fish, and it'll work in all kinds of frontal conditions.
Next week, our Bassmasters cameras follow the tournament trail to Bainbridge, Georgia, and the Georgia Top 100. Lake Seminole has a reputation as one of the best springtime bass fisheries around, but this time the pros face a winter situation. Join us for all the action. For the Bassmasters, I'm Bob Cobb. See you all right here next week on TNN Outdoors.
The Bassmasters has been brought to you by Ranger Boats, still building legends one at a time. Zebco Quantum, the top names in fishing. Storm Lures, quality lures for taking the big ones by storm. Berkeley Power Bait, Fish Bite and Won't Let Go. Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Jersey's American Activewear.
There's number 5.
Motor Guide, the choice of serious fishermen. Bass Pro Shops, world's largest supplier of premium tackle. Illinois Bureau of Tourism. Call 1-800-2CONNECT. Wrangler Rugged Wear, geared for the outdoors. And the Bass Angler Sportsman Society, the world's largest bass fishing organization.